Businesses around the world are interested in making their presence in the UAE. One of the reasons for this is the Expo 2020. Hey everyone, before we move ahead, please click on the subscribe button to stay updated on our weekly business and finance related content, which is incredibly useful for business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, and those who aspire to be one. Now let's get back to the video. Businesses around the world are interested in making their presence in the UAE. One of the reasons for this is the Expo 2020. An easy way to get your presence in the UAE is to set up a branch or a subsidiary. There is, however, a lack of knowledge in what the difference between the two is. It is important to understand the difference between the two to make sure that the intended ownership structure is achieved. And only this way will you be able to take advantage of the business environment in the UAE. Also note that if there is a mistake done in creating this structure, then rectifying this would take a lot of time, effort and money. So now let's get into what the main differences are between a branch license and a subsidiary license. The first difference is the legal entity. A branch license is treated as the same legal entity as the main company. What this means is that the income earned of a branch license is the income of the main company itself. What this also means is that the main company owns 100% and controls 100% of the activity in the UAE. In the case of a subsidiary, they are considered as two separate legal entities. What this means is that the income earned by the subsidiary is not the same as the income earned by the parent company. Also, different type of ownership structures can be looked into. Either the parent company owns 100% of the subsidiary in UAE, or the parent company could have partners or even other entities involved in the same structure. Another area where the branch license and subsidiary license differ is the liability. Since the branch license is considered to be the same legal entity, the liability of the branch license is extended towards the head office as well. This is something that the investors may not be too interested in. However, in the case of a subsidiary, since they are considered as two separate legal entities, the liability is limited to the entity in the UAE and is not extended to the investors which is located in another country. Another factor to consider when deciding between a branch license or a subsidiary license is if you plan to exit or sell the company. In the case of a branch license, since there are no two different legal entities, it may be difficult to exit from the company which is located in the UAE. However, in the case of a subsidiary license, since a separate legal entity exists, the paperwork is a little more easier to get done to sell the company. Another area where a branch license differs from the subsidiary license is how the accounts are maintained. In the case of a branch license, again, because it's the same legal entity, the accounts are supposed to be maintained together. However, it may be useful to maintain a separate set of accounts for the branch license as well, just for the compliance purposes in the UAE. However, in the case of a subsidiary license, the accounts are to be maintained separately. These accounts should also be consolidated with the parent company every financial year. This needs to follow the accounting standards of the parent company. Another factor to consider when deciding between a branch license and a subsidiary license is the activity of the main entity in the UAE. In the case of a branch license, the activity must match exactly as the main license activity. In the case of a subsidiary license, there is no such restriction that the activity must match exactly as the parent company. However, do note, a subsidiary license cannot be created if a professional activity is selected. Another factor to consider when deciding between a branch license or a subsidiary license is taxation. Since the UAE does not have corporate tax yet, there is no difference in the tax implications in the UAE. However, there may be some tax implications for the parent company or the head office. In the case of a branch license, since the income earned by the branch entity is the same as the income of the head office, there are higher chances of tax implications in the home country. However, the tax laws in the home country need to be reviewed for this. In the case of a subsidiary license, since it's a separate legal entity, the chances of being taxed in the home country is lower. This, however, needs to be checked with the tax laws in the home country. You need to check if there will be taxes on the sales in the UAE, dividends that's being repatriated back home, or even profits in the UAE. You may also have a situation where there will be no taxes implicated on the income earned in the UAE. Hope this video gave you a better understanding on if you would need to take a subsidiary license or a branch license. Hey everyone, you've reached the end of this video. Thank you all for listening. If you like this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. If you'd like for us to talk about any specific topics, please do let us know in the comments below. Hope to see you in the next video.